captain of a Continental jet dies. Co-pilots respond, and we hear about it when the plane is still airborne. Now, the good news is the plane landed safely in Newark, New Jersey. It was en route from Brussels, Belgium, when the 60-year-old pilot apparently died of natural causes. There was a relief pilot on board. He took over for the dead pilot, and the crew landed the Boeing 777 without any problems. There were 247 passengers on board, and get this, passengers told our news crew that they were not told about the death during the flight. They actually found out about it from our reporter after they got off the plane.
No one told me. I asked one of the gentlemen, and he said, if they didn't tell you, we can't tell you.
What did they tell you when you thought? So you just thought about your fire truck. Were you an alarm at it or anything at that point?
No.
Either his fire truck?
I mean, my mom and I suspected there's a little bit more than just, medical emergency.
And now that you know that it was the captain who died in mid-flight, how does that make you feel?
That's horrifying. I mean, luckily enough that, no one knew about it, so it didn't really scare any of the passengers.
Continental Airlines flight dies during the flight from Brussels, Belgium to Newark, New Jersey. That plane did land safely, thankfully. This kind of scenario hardly ever happens, but what's the protocol in the cockpit when it does? Pilot and author of Salon.com, Ask the Pilot, joins me via broadband from Boston. Patrick, I guess I just have to ask this question because it's something that all of us wanted to know. Who makes the call that somebody, who makes the call that the pilot was dead? And once they've confirmed that, how do you respectfully deal with the body when you're still airborne?
That's a good question, Kira. I mean, airlines each have their own protocols on how to deal exactly with this kind of thing. What Continental's is, I can't really say. I'd like to remind people that, for the family of the captain and his colleagues, obviously this was a very serious and tragic event. But from a safety standpoint, for those on board the plane, it really was a non-issue. Every commercial flight has at least two fully qualified flight crew members on board, a captain and a first officer. Because this was an international, a long-haul flight, it would have had a third fully qualified crew member on, a relief first officer. So there would have been a captain and two first officers. Now, first officer, the colloquial for that is co-pilot, but a co-pilot isn't just an apprentice or a helping hand. He or she is trained to operate the airplane in every regime of flight, takeoffs, landings, good weather, bad weather. Long and short, when this plane touches down in Newark, I guess it hasn't landed yet. Is that correct? When it does,
it has landed, Patrick.
It has landed.
Yes.
So when it touched down, there would have been two fully rated pilots at the controls, just as there would be normally. Okay.
So now the decision was made not to tell the passengers. Is that normal protocol? Because what if the co-pilots did not know how to respond, possibly panicked in the situation? You'd want to find out if indeed there was a doctor on board. So what's the protocol of when you reach out to passengers for medical help and when do you not?
That varies situation to situation, airline to airline. I can't speak specifically for Continental. Obviously, the two first officers, were, as I was saying, fully trained to operate this aircraft, and that really shouldn't have been an issue. Why they didn't summon a doctor, why they didn't tell the passengers, I can't really say. It may have been just to avoid panic.
Patrick Smith has a column, Ask the Pilot, on Salon.com.